Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you, and in this one, I'm going to talk about 5 things that just don't make sense to me about America after living in Sweden. Let's get into it. Number 1 has to be the death penalty. And see, most of these things, I had to get outside of the bubble of America where it just is so normal, and then go outside of that and just kind of challenge my perspective. And just overall to me, when you start to look at DNA evidence and just what other countries and cultures do, they don't have the death penalty. There are times where we have crazy events in the States and mass, you know what, going on constantly. And you can understand why maybe people would want the death penalty. But overall, in my opinion, it just comes down to this. There are going to be innocent people that are going to be put into the mix, and it's just kind of barbaric. And it's something that you don't see in Europe. And I completely understand why, because I feel like it just unfairly, for example, might target minorities and just overall not be a good thing to have in society. So yeah, that's number 1 thing that just doesn't make sense to me anymore. Number 2 has to be how we do banking in the United States. And I simply mean that fraud just seems to be more common. It's more easy for someone to be able to just steal your credit card number or your debit card number. It's probably happened to me like 4 times with my American bank account, and it doesn't happen to me in Sweden. And I think this has to do with bank ID, and it can be an annoyance at times because I have to open up my card to pay online, but it takes me like 2 extra seconds to do it, and then someone can't make a big charge on my credit card, which is really, really important and something that I like. So that's another thing that I very much enjoy. Number 3 has to be drink sizes. See, when I first came to Sweden and they would give me these small drink sizes, I would constantly think to myself, wow, like, I want a refill. This doesn't make sense to me. But the more and more I think about how out of shape Americans are, I don't think it's a very good thing that we have these big drink sizes. One of the main reasons I don't like these big drink sizes is just very easy to just drink these extra calories when you're not paying attention. When I go back to the States, I'll get these large Coke, and I will need another refill and need another refill. And I find that when I'm sitting at a restaurant in Sweden and I have a smaller amount, I can make that last me the whole drink, like the whole dinner. And if I'm really thirsty, I just get myself a glass of water. It's just something, I know it sounds so un-American to say this, but I just think we have so many health problems that maybe we don't need to have that. I mean, when I grew up in the States, we had soda in our high school. Like, I could just drink a pop every day, and it wasn't that hard to do as a kid. And looking at the damage that soda does, I'm not so sure it was a good idea having that in school. Number 4 has to be the American work ethic. See, we have this thing in our society here in America that you have to work hard, you must work hard. It's very, very important. And I get that, but I think a lot of times in America, you're not necessarily rewarded for working very, very hard. And it just can lead to more stress on your life. And if you're sick, you feel tempted to go into work. And I think it actually ends up burning out a lot of Americans in the workforce. We are seeing now this huge migration in the workforce happening in the States. People are really re-evaluating their lives and trying to figure out what they want to do. Many people love working from home, for example. Other people maybe don't want to work in the service industry anymore. Number 5 has to be how we do public transportation. See, in America, it's not really possible unless you live in like New York City, Chicago, or LA. It's not possible to just not have a car. Where in Europe, you can get by without having a car for many years. I will say that when you're thinking about having kids and maybe in a longer term relationship, it makes sense to get a car. But petrol or gas, whatever you want to call it, is so expensive here in Europe, especially with inflation recently, that it's just so nice that the public transportation works so well. Where in the States, our economy is so built around the car, but the issue is that's not necessarily good for the environment longer term. And in a weird way, public transportation offers a lot more freedom because when you're younger and you can't drive, it's easier to get around and get to go to places. And that's something that many kids in Europe experience, getting a chance to go around or go to a city or travel more on their own. It adds to a lot more independence, something that I couldn't do until I was 16 when I was in the United States. So that's my video. Please tell me what you thought about this, guys. If there's anything I missed, As anyone else, if you're an American, is this something that you've experienced leaving the United States? I'm very curious about that. Please let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Hej då!